Let's go back to 2009, a pivotal year, a threshold I didn't even realize I was crossing. I booked my first therapy session, not out of desperation, not because I thought something inside me was broken, but because I was about to embark on the journey to become a clinical psychologist. I told myself, if I was going to ask others to walk this path, I should lace up my own shoes and take those first steps myself. Maybe you know that feeling, the one where you think you're holding it all together, dispensing advice to your friends, believing you're the emotional lighthouse when storms roll in. That was me. I thought I knew myself inside and out. Therapy, I assumed, was something other people needed. But as I sat in that room week after week, something began to shift. At first, therapy was simply a sanctuary, a space to exhale, to unburden, to speak freely without fear of judgment or interruption. It was nice, helpful even. Yet I kept telling myself, I don't really have much to work on. 8 months passed, and then, like a bolt of lightning on a calm horizon, came my first real epiphany. I'd been circling a hard decision, looping over it again and again, as if clarity would arrive through repetition alone. Then my therapist said too, "Me, what if there isn't a single right answer? What if there are just choices? What if every option means gaining something precious and losing something meaningful?" That idea cracked open my perspective. Suddenly, I saw my life not as a series of right or wrong turns, but as a branching tree of experiences, each promising both flowers and fallen leaves. Yet here's the twist. The seeds of that wisdom had been planted months earlier. She had told me this before, but I wasn't ready to water them. I had been too invested in avoiding loss, too fearful of what grief might feel like. My biggest fear was losing something, anything. It took 8 months of steady, gentle work to accept a simple truth. Every choice requires us to let go of all the other endless possible lives we could lead. Growth and grief, I learned, are two vines that spiral together up the same trellis. After that moment, I doubled down on the work. No more pretending I was already perfect. I started to get honest, brutally honest, about my patterns, my blind spots, the ways I shaped and was shaped by the world around me. I became relentless in uncovering what I was hiding, even from myself. I realized I am the one thread running through all the chapters of my story. Years rolled by. Gradually, almost imperceptibly, everything began to shift. My relationships grew healthier, like gardens tended with new care. I learned how to state my needs clearly, to build boundaries sturdy enough to keep the storms at bay, but flexible enough to let in sunlight. I became more resilient, less like glass, more like bamboo, able to bend without breaking. The inner voice that once judged and criticized became softer, kinder, more nurturing. Others saw the transformation too. Friends, family, colleagues, they noticed the difference. Some came to me, asking for guidance, looking for a therapist of their own, hoping to find what I'd found. Meanwhile, I was learning in school about the science behind it all, why it works, how it works, and why a trained, objective guide can help us decipher the most intricate mystery we'll ever try to solve: our own minds. Now maybe you're thinking, years in therapy. Isn't that a bit much? In today's world of instant gratification, where you can hail a ride or order food with a flick of your finger, the idea of a slow, unhurried process seems almost antiquated. We crave shortcuts, quick fixes, easy answers. But here's the hard truth. There are no express lanes for emotional healing. You can't summon self-awareness like an Uber. Growth requires patience. And the shortcuts we take, bottling up disappointment until it hardens into resentment, numbing our pain with substances, fleeing from discomfort, almost always end up feeding the very problems we hope to escape. Our culture is obsessed with self-care right now. Everywhere you look, there are messages about pampering yourself, treating yourself, indulgence masquerading as wellness. But real self-care isn't just about hot baths and glasses of wine in the tub, while Netflix hums in the background. True self-care is about making choices that are compassionate and thoughtful, even when they're not glamorous. It's about choosing what you need over what you want in the moment. And real therapy, real mental fitness, sometimes looks like leaning into discomfort, not away from it. Let me tell you about psychoanalytic talk therapy, a form that's especially close to my heart. In this approach, the therapy room becomes a mirror, a microcosm where all the patterns you repeat in life begin to play out in real time. It's meta. It's powerful. If you tend to retreat when people get close, sooner or later, you'll find yourself pulling away from your therapist, too. That's when the real work begins. Your therapist might say, "Do you notice what you're doing?" Let's unpack it together. The things you most need to learn about yourself will emerge right there, between you and the person helping you. I remember once, waiting for my session, hearing my therapist laugh loudly with the patient before me. It stung. I thought, how dare you laugh at someone else's jokes? I'm supposed to be the funny one. I was embarrassed to admit it, but I did. And that awkward confession opened the door to a deeper understanding of what I bring to my relationships, my desire to be seen and valued, my longing to matter. As a therapist, I now see it from the other side. There was the patient who'd spend her sessions worrying about my well-being, trying to take care of me instead of herself. Together, we traced that urge back to a lifetime of feeling responsible for everyone else, even at her own expense. She learned slowly to find balance. Another client, a high-powered CEO, would pick little fights with me every week, only to work hard to resolve them afterward. Gradually, we discovered that he unconsciously created tiny conflicts so that he could fix them, so he could feel needed, validated, essential. And then there was the man who paid for his first session in nickels and never returned, a mystery, a reminder that therapy is an invitation, not a command. I love psychoanalytic therapy, but the truth is, any kind of sustained inner work is valuable. Anything that helps you get comfortable with being uncomfortable is therapeutic. What matters most is that it isn't quick or easy, and you don't have to do it alone. Think about it. No Olympic athlete ever reached the podium without coaches, mentors, or teammates backing them up. Why do we expect ourselves to reach emotional greatness by ourselves? Having someone objective and trained to reflect back your patterns is a game changer. A lot of us turn to friends and family for support. And yes, their love matters. But they're not always equipped to see us clearly. They're not trained, and they're not objective. Their own hopes, fears, and biases color what they perceive. Sometimes, the people who love us most can't see our blind spots, or they're too close to help us change them. If you're listening and thinking, "That's not for me, I don't have issues," let me pause you right there. That thought is exactly why you should lean in. We are masterful at hiding things from ourselves. There is so much you don't. No, you don't know. The unprocessed pain we bury doesn't disappear. It seeps out, generation after generation. But healing too is contagious. Every time you break a cycle, you plant seeds of resilience and self-awareness for those who come after you. Have you ever wished your parents had better tools for emotional life? Wished your boss had more empathy? Wished your partner could communicate better? Here's the magic. When you change, the world around you shifts too. Healthier people gravitate into your orbit. Your relationships transform. Instead of "I'll take care of you if you take care of me," we begin to say, "I'll take care of me for you and you'll take care of you for me." That's where true partnership and friendship blossom. I have witnessed the ripple effect of one person's transformation. When you commit to this work, not just for yourself, but for everyone you touch, the impact is immeasurable. Your growth shapes every conversation, every project, every connection. The echoes of your healing reach further than you can imagine. Now I want to acknowledge something. Therapy requires resources, time, money, emotional energy. That can feel daunting. But if you look, you'll find sliding scale clinics, low-cost services, and ways to make it work. And here's a secret. Time and money have a way of stretching or shrinking based on what you prioritize. The hours you spend replaying your worries in your mind far outweigh the actual time therapy might take. Don't wait for a crisis. Strengthen your resilience while you're strong enough to do so. Prevention is always easier than repair. Let's talk about mental health. Too often we equate it with mental illness, with fixing what's broken. But imagine if instead we thought of mental fitness, training our minds as we would our bodies. You don't have to be in pieces to deserve help. You don't have to be desperate. You just need curiosity and the drive to become the best version of yourself. When people ask me if therapy will make them happy, I tell them no. Not in the way they expect. It won't hand you joy on a silver platter. What it will do is deepen your happiness, make it more authentic, more vivid, more yours. It will teach you to cherish your sadness, too, to see the beauty in every feeling that moves through you. Therapy gives you permission at last to feel the full spectrum of human emotion, not just the sunny bits our culture tells us to chase. We live in a world that worships happiness, that tells us if we're not beaming with joy every moment, something is wrong. But happiness is only one note in the symphony of being alive. Therapy invites you to sit with all of it, the longing, the loss, the hope, the pain, the quiet moments of peace. Only then do you truly come alive. The transformation is almost impossible to describe. You may not believe it until you feel it for yourself, the subtle yet profound way your life begins to shift beneath the surface, the small daily miracles, the sudden clarity in moments that once left you lost. Words may fail, but the experience never does. So here's my challenge to you. Step into the unknown. Try it. Be brave enough to meet yourself as you are, and curious enough to explore who you might become. The journey may be long, but every step you take is a revolution. The world needs you, whole, awake, and alive. Go feel it. Thank you.